Hello, chess lovers. Welcome to Star Chess Academy. This is a game number 7 of the World Chess Championship. It was a beautiful game played by both the players. So here, game starts with the move. Yes, knight f3, and Gukesh gives knight f3 a try in this game after having played e4 twice and d4 once. So d5, g3, and the move g6, an interesting way to play against the Reti system, which may give a symmetrical g3 Grunfeld. Now the move d4, bishop g7, c4, c6, d into c4, the other fundamental way to play the game. So bishop g2 and knight f6. We are now getting the famous symmetrical Grunfeld, an opening I appreciate from both colors as it actually has a lot of potential, right? So many ideas have already been tried with the white pieces to play against this solid structure. Gukesh has decided to come to the game with a new one, the castling, and the rook e1. Well, it is not a very famous move, and yeah, it is very rare, and it's always a pleasure to see a quasi novelty after only 7 moves in such a theoretical opening. Only 31 games have been played here, and only one grandmaster played in twice, the German grandmaster Rasmus Swan. It obviously came as a surprise to Ding as he thought for almost 30 minutes here. A good point for Mukesh. Many other moves were possible for white here. For example, say into d5, knight c3, b3, knight b d2. But yeah, rook even novelty and d into c4. Ding goes for the pawn and accepts to give white the central squares. Okay, then e4 and bishop g4. The most logical move order to complete the development, and knight b d2. Now we can see the main difference between knight c3 line and this one, white is now free to put the knight on d2 and attacking the c4 pawn. Well, c5, and an interesting decision here. Ding decides to play active and not focus on the protecting the c4 pawn. After that move, Gukesh was out of his preparation, and d5 and e6 h3, a logical move. Gukesh wants to force the Ding to give his bishop here, but let's go of a big part of his advantage. So takes and e into d5, we are now having a Benoni like structure, and black has a powerful g7 bishop and majority on the queen side, 4 pawns on the queen side, and the bishop pair, right? Well, white has a bishop pair, I mean to say. Black should adopt an active play and white should try to convert in a more positional way. Maybe we can see the influence of the Richard report on Ding. Again, as report is very famous Benoni player, we know this. So takes and b5, a logical active move trying to take advantage of the pawn majority. So pawn majority means 3 pawns are there on the one side, 2 pawns are there on the same side. If more pawns are there on the same side, then it is known as a pawn majority. If less pawns are there against the more pawns, then we can call it the minority. A logical active move, right? So knight f3 protecting the knight, queen b6 activating the queen. Black's position is now objectively fine thanks to his activity. You can see all the pieces are active. The queen is active. This knight is good blocking. This knight is good. The dark square bishop is open. And little bit we can say that white's position is technically good because he has a passed pawn, which is a protected passed pawn, as well as the bishop pair. Both the bishops are good. The rook is on the open file. And okay, this is a bad knight. We can say that. But okay, we will cancel out both the knights. So bishop f4, rook f e8, and here Gukesh plays the move queen d2 because he says, okay, I want to put my bishops under here on the f6 with the idea. So rook a d8, the black pieces are pretty harmonious. So knight c2, doing the knight on the good square, knight f8, and Ding aims to bring his knight to d4 via e6 and on the d4, but it looks like a bit superficial to me. So b4, it's an interesting move to block the black expansion and mostly to get control of the d4 square. Well, if black plays this move, then simply we have the d4 square. So the c2 knight could easily jump there. The moves need to be perfectly analyzed by Gukesh. It opens a long diagonal for some tactical ideas, and yeah, it's quite looking very risky, but it's not. So c4, the most logical continuation, creating an eternal passed pawn, and Ding spent 15 minutes on this last move and is getting dangerously low of time, having only 26 minutes left. So bishop e3, queen a6, and bishop to d4, a normal centralizing move, doing the centralization of the bishop. This pawn is in the future can go to the a4. The bishop is protecting the pawn. Well, the position for white is good but not winning. Rook takes, and queen into a2. The question is why the white gave this pawn, because after rook a1, queen b3, a big inaccuracy played very fast by Ding, which showed that Ding took an uncontrolled risk by taking the a2 pawn, and it is a very risky move, you can see here. And well, rook a3 attacking the queen, queen b1 check, and the move king g2. Black queen looks a bit lost here, and from the other pieces it is very far away, right? And Ding with low time has to be very careful in every move now not to get his queen trapped. So rook d7, well, it is a big inaccuracy and a losing move by Ding Liren. According to the angels, in an already complicated position, Ding wants to protect the a7 pawn, but his pieces are now completely uncoordinated. They are not coordinated. You can see the knight has no scope, this knight has no scope, this bishop is not doing anything, this queen is not doing anything. Practically, this position is lost for black. And the best move here is to rook a5. What a move. Attacking the pawn. Gukesh finds the correct move. The b5 pawn will fall. And queen b3. Rook a3, Gukesh decides to repeat the position once to get closer to the 40th move, and then rook a5, queen b3, and then rook into b5. Obviously, Gukesh is not going to repeat the position, so queen d3, and here queen f4. Not best move according to the angels, but still a winning move. Yeah, it is still a winning move, and the best move is to play the move bishop e3, because after queen into d2, bishop into d2, knight e8 with the follow-up of knight d6, now bishop to e3 and attacking this pawn, and this bishop is very well placed. Bishop f6, and now rook to c5. It is a big losing pawn here, we can say, and these two pawns are very dangerous, right? And now knights are not doing anything, so that is why it is not a good idea to play queen f4, but still it is winning for white. And queen into c2, well, Gukesh thought to give this knight, and here, what a move by white it should be. The move is d5. What a move, right? No, it is not the best move. Can you please tell me why it is not the best move? Yes, because after g5, queen into g5, and then h6, queen f5, and then queen into f5, pawn takes, and the move knight to e8. And this position is lost for white. So here the correct move for the white is to play bishop into f6, which Gukesh played, and after queen f5 we have the best move here, which is the move bishop to g5. This is the correct move, right? So here the best move was to play bishop g5, but Gukesh played the move queen into f5, which is an inaccuracy. So after g into f5, again g into f7. I mean bishop into g7. Gukesh is not showing great precision in the last few moves. It was better to keep the bishop here. The position now is not objectively winning anymore. So what was the best move here? Still the best move is to play bishop g5 and try to play bishop e3 to attack on this pawn. But objectively this move is not winning. So takes, king takes, and rook c5, knight g6. Ding finally activates the knight. So rook into c4, knight a5, rook d4, and practically it is impossible to create the pawn to the queen because the knight can move. The knight can create the blockade. Knight is the best blockader, everyone knows, and the move knight c6. A great defensive resource, maybe a move that Gukesh missed when he decided to play queen into f5, right? So rook f4, rook d2 is the best try, and black must be precise to hold this position. So rook f4, knight e7, pawn pushes, and now the position is equal. King f6, black is activating the king, and the d5 pawn will fall. The draw should not be too difficult to get for Ding now. So rook d4, h6, and king f1, king e5. Well, a huge mistake on the 40th move. After that move, white's position is winning again. So you can see how the game is switching, right? And what is the best move here? The best move is to play knight c8, followed by the move knight to d6 to create the blockade and to attack on the pawn. But Ding missed the... After that move, king e5, the best move is of course rook h4, attacking the pawn, and there is no one who can protect that pawn. And after rook into h6, rook takes. This position is totally winning for white because white is a pawn up with a passed pawn, and the black's structure is disaster, right? You can see both the pawns, and you can see this pawn is not doing anything. Well, it's winning. So knight c3, and again the best move played by the Gukesh, rook c6, knight e4, and knight e1. A move that I don't like, it is not necessary, but it seems that Gukesh does not want to go to the rook endgame. And knight d2 is not a threat as the rook endgame is easily winning and the king is less safe on the e1 than on the g2 square. Black will now get some counterplay chances and f6. Well, the great move is here rook d5. Yeah, attacking the pawn, and if bishop e2, then yeah, rook d4, trying to hold the position. And after rook c2, rook to b4, rook behind the pass pawn. Practically, it is not easy for white to win this endgame. So king e1 is a mistake, and f6 again a bad move. And the best move for the white is to play rook c8, and followed by the move h4 to control the 8th rank so that the rook cannot move to the 8th rank, and h4. Well, again a bad move, right? So Ding played a good move, and bishop to d1. What is this, man? A big mistake that gives black a chance to survive. Here, the best move is to play king a2, simple and easy move to protect the bishop, right? And if rook gives the check, then we will not play king e1 or f1, but we will play king to e3, and it is winning for white. We can give the check, we can move our king to here, we can take the pawn or knight. So many moves are there, right? So it is a big mistake again, bishop d1, and now the best move is the king e2 is of course winning here, but the best move for black to hold is to play the move f4, which is played by Ding. Wow, Ding does not miss his chance, and thanks to his activity, black is now able to save the game. And now you can see the black's king is active. It was a bad pawn here that was exchanged with the good pawn. Now the pawn chain has broken here, and yeah, now the black is pushing, and you can see the Ding's king. And after some moves, you can see the pawns are equal. Why I am saying equal? Because this pawn is not able to move, because anytime the king can give the checkmate threat against the white king, because knight and rook and king, they can provide the checkmate attack. So white has to be very precise here. King f3, f5 pushing the pawn, king f4 chasing the pawn, f6, knight e4 attacking the pawn. So bishop c2 and the knight to d6, the simple and easy move to create the blockade. And so rook d8, king e5, protecting the knight, bishop b3, knight f7, simple, creating the blockade. And after that the pawn falls and the game is a draw. So rook exchanges, knight d6 attacking the pawn, king b4, and everybody knows this end game, that is a draw. A very interesting game to analyze from the beginning to the end. Both players made a lot of mistakes and impressions, and Gukesh will probably regret his lack of precision in the important moments. So it is a miracle that Ding managed to save this game, and it may be a hard psychological hit for Gukesh. We will see if this game will come back to haunt Gukesh during the next games. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please share, subscribe, and like 𝒕🕗 Academy. Thanks for watching.